when we're coming back, we have the two places. We go and build the river. When we come back, all these are add-ons. What can we say? So what our ancestors walkway.
So were they in single file or 2x2? It could have been a combination of whatever, right?
Yes, then it was made up of so many of us. And so most of the times when we come in here during our ritual sessions, we mostly walk through this path all the way to the river with our shoes off.
Okay,
Really?
so what is this pathway called?
Okay, so this is called the ancestral route.
Ancestral
yes,
route.
Or the ancestral walkway. So when our ancestors were brought in here to the slave market, they will have to be taken to the river in order to take their last bath. So whilst they were going through the river in chains and shackles, they walked barefooted, half naked, through this particular walkway all the way to the river.
And this is real. This
Yes,
is the
this is
real
path.
ancestral
And
walkway.
Many books have given documentations to it. Like a British historian, a person of W.E. Ward, in his book entitled The Short History of Ghana. Our very own Professor Akosua Adumapebi, in his book entitled The History of the Indigenous Slavery in Ghana from the 16th century to the 19th century. And in a UNESCO book entitled The Transatlantic Slave Trade, Landmark, Legacies and Exploitation. So all these books have made the claim that indeed it happened here, and this same path was the sacred grounds that our ancestors walked on. So because of our ancestors walking on the grounds like this, for us, we always treat this ground as sacred. And most often at times, we go through this path with our shoes off. And people always ask me, Kofi, why do we have to go through this path with our shoes off? And I always have to answer over and over and over again. Because I told them, look, I don't know about you, but for me, I believe that the kind of ancestors we had were the best. Because our ancestors had options to take all their lives. And if all of them did, where would you be? It is at the back of our ancestors we are still alive today. We don't even deserve to walk on the same path that they did. Because we show them so much disrespect. Today, we don't even tell our kids about the black history of our own black people. But we left our kids to be taught about the white history of our own black people. And when our kids are growing up, there is this inferiority syndrome that surrounds us. It's because we forget to tell them who they are. So today, whilst we walk through this path, we tell our ancestors that we know we've offended them, but they should just forgive us. One more chance, let us walk on the same path. Remember their pains, their struggle, and their resilience, so that from today, we will tell our history. The second reason is the covenant you are here to fulfill. The land is yours. It's just because of circumstances that is why we're not together. Today, destiny has brought you home. The land needs to know you. By walking barefooted, you connect to the land, and your ancestors will recognize you by your footsteps. And they would come together and start pointing hands and say, wow, these are my children that I've returned. The second one is an experience for you to tell the story better. Because when you go through that experience and somebody don't tell you the right story or your right history, you know how to deal with that person because you lived and you understand how our ancestors felt. The last one is where we bring all of our ancestors together and we say thank you for all that they've done for us. Because if you don't say thank you to them, tomorrow you and I will also be like them and nobody will mention your name. So we talk about them, we mention their names, we sing their praises, and we walk all the way to the river. Who are your ancestors? Maybe you never met Sojina Prince. Maybe you never met our Topman. But set within your family, within your friends, I'm sure you've lost some people that were so special to you. Some people that have played a role to be where you are today. Maybe because of the authors and pastors, you've never even had this chance to say thank you. So whilst walking on these same sacred grounds, we call all of them, have conversations with them, and thank them for something that they did to us that made us who we are. And when we get to the river, we're going to go through some basic rituals in the river before we come back and continue with the adults. So these are some of the things that we do. But walking on me here, I told you it's not binding. It's not binding for you to take your shoes off. But if you want to, it's all allowed to take your shoes off. And it is one of the safest ways to go.
Okay, but as kingdom citizens, there are some rituals that we're not going to take part in because it could be ancestral gods. And some of those gods was not necessarily worshiping God and Yeshua Messiah. So we're here to get the information, but we don't want to participate in the worshiping of calling ancestral gods and all that. So
I was just telling you things
Yeah.
that son will have to do.
Right.
So that is why I
Okay.
said walking here is not binding on you.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So
Okay.
we just
Well.
have a few minutes walk to the river.
Okay.
So let me-